So on this video we're going to make the coaster. It goes together again very quickly after you've cut it. I put some cork on the back and some acrylic on the front. When I do these, I like to do 2 at a time and then be able to change around the colors as I like. So in this case I did pink and purple with a bright pink background. When we build this next one, we're going to have the purple and the pink, and that just gives us a little variety. And I'm going to keep the extra pieces and we're going to glue those together. That's going to give us some extra thickness so that we've got a nice sturdy mat. Just have to remember to put our background there. So the order that we're going to put these is when you look at your cutouts, the one with the thinnest line will be at the top and the one with the thickest lines, I'll show you that, will be at the bottom. So just stack them in that order. You'll be able to see how they are. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside just for a second. These other pieces that we had left over from the cutting, along with our background piece, I'm going to glue those before I start gluing these, and I'm going to put it onto the cork so everything's done except when we assemble this, we'll put it on top of that. So let's just start with this. Just kind of line them up. I find it works just fine to put a line of glue on each one. Then line them up, tap them together without pressing, and once you've got them all lined up, just kind of set it together. We're only doing that one side, but that will get everything stuck and aligned, and then we can do the rest of them. These coasters do take a little while to cut, but again, the assembly is fast. But now you can see why it was helpful to have one edge already glued. It holds things in place while we work with the rest of it. We're going to basically repeat this process for the cut pieces. I just have found that it's a little easier to work with it in 2 parts. And then we'll put on our cork. I've also found that this cork, I can't cut it on my Explorer. It's just a little bit too thick and crumbly. If it turns out that you can cut it, then you can just cut it to the same size as these squares here. So me, I'm just cutting mine by hand. So it's not perfect. May need a little bit of trimming, and if so, I'll do that with some scissors later. So that's our base. Now we'll work on our coaster, layered coaster shape here. Now I've already got these lined up. We're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to glue one edge and then we're going to glue all the rest. If you're doing one of the coasters that has, you know, a directional design on it, by all means pay attention to when you stack them. This has no particular directions, so it's a step I can skip. I just have to make sure they're in size order. Don't put any glue on the top one. Line it up. Make sure that edge is set. I tried doing that with a paper clip at one point, but it was actually a rather thick clip, and it caused some offset on the gluing, so that didn't work real well. And on these we'll do 3 sides, and we'll do them one at a time. Some of the coasters have more layers than others. So you probably want about 8 layers of cardstock for a coaster. 5 is enough, but it tends to be a little flimsier. So if you need to, just cut extra pieces of the squares and just thicken it up a little bit. One of these is a little off, but since we're just doing this video, I'm not going to worry about it terribly. Okay. So we're now finished with this. This is our top piece. We're going to just glue it right on here and then add our acetate. If you are in possession of the correct size pieces of glass, or if you can cut them, then that's nice. Please do. Actually, I'm going to add, since I have the room here, I'm going to add some glue in here just to help hold it down. Not worrying about the center. It's not going to matter. It's not going anywhere. And we will be covering up that top layer with some acetate. If you're using dark color especially, don't use glue with your acetate. I have not found any except maybe rubber cement that doesn't discolor the dark paper. So I recommend using the monodots if you can get them, or something the equivalent. If you're going to use double-sided tape like score tape, test it first, because sometimes it shows pretty badly. I did a test of about 15 different things, and these are actually the best. It helps to open it. I'm just going to run, hopefully, I'm going to run a line of dots along the edge. They'll show a little bit, but not nearly as much as glue does. Like if you're working with a light colored cardstock, it makes far less difference. But dark cardstock and gluing acetate to it, it's a tough one. Okay, I'm just going to put a piece of acetate on, seal it down, and we're done. So we have 2 different coasters, and they go together very quickly. So enjoy.